When planning a helicopter cross-country flight, conducting a thorough weather briefing and carefully selecting your course are crucial steps to ensuring safe and successful journey. Helicopters, due to their lower altitudes and slower speeds compared to their fixed-wing brethren, are particularly affected by weather conditions and terrain, making these elements of flight planning even more important. First off, let's talk about the weather briefing. Obtain a weather information from reliable sources such as 1-800-WEATHER-BRIEF or 1-800-WEATHERBRIEF.com, flight service stations, or using an electronic flight bag with integrated weather services. The most comprehensive briefing covers all of the essential weather information, NOTAMs, TFRs, and other relevant flight details. There are 3 different kinds of briefings. The Outlook briefing is useful when your flight is several hours away or even the next day, providing an overview of the expected weather conditions. An abbreviated briefing focuses on specific areas of concern if you've already reviewed the most important information and need an update or clarification. Standard briefings are briefings that are used primarily to get your weather information, NOTAMs, and TFR information as well. There are some key weather factors to consider. Helicopters often operate at lower altitudes, making visibility in cloud ceilings critical. Check for fog, glow clouds, or any conditions that might reduce visibility below VFR weather minimums. Pay special attention to surface winds, as strong winds can significantly affect a helicopter's performance, especially during takeoff and landing and hovering. Crosswind gusts are particularly challenging. Also, for navigational purposes, if you have a strong wind, a strong headwind, you may need to adjust for that as well. Review temperatures and dew point spreads to assess the risk of fog or mist formation, which can reduce visibility. Low temperatures can also lead to the formation of frost or ice on the aircraft, which is hazardous for helicopters. Assess the likelihood of rain, snow, or other precipitation as well. Heavy rain can reduce visibility, and freezing precipitation can be dangerous due to ice accumulation on the rotors. Avoid flying near thunderstorms, as they can produce severe turbulence, wind shear, lightning, and hail, all of which are hazardous to helicopter operations. Understanding broader weather systems that may affect your route, such as cold fronts, warm fronts, and pressure systems. These can lead to rapidly changing weather conditions. When planning a cross-country flight, always be sure to check the METARs and the TAFs for the current weather conditions, and the TAFs for the forecast along your route of flight and at your destination. This helps in anticipating the weather's changes during your flights. PIREPs, or pilot reports, provide real-time information about actual conditions encountered by other pilots, including turbulence, icing, and cloud tops, which can be valuable for decision-making. If needed, identify suitable alternate landing sites in case weather deteriorates or if your destination becomes unreachable. Be prepared to modify your course if weather conditions along your planned route of flight are unfavorable. Knowing alternate routes that avoid bad weather is essential for flexibility during the flight. Avoid high terrain areas with significant elevation changes that could pose a risk, particularly in poor visibility and high winds. Select routes that follow valleys or lower terrain when possible. Plan your route to avoid known obstacles such as towers, power lines, and other man-made structures. Sectional charts may provide detailed information, but the TAC charts and helicopter route charts are where it's at, if they're available in your area. Ensure your route avoids restricted or prohibited areas, and be aware of controlled airspace, such as Class B, Class C, and Class D airspace. If you must enter or transition controlled airspace, plan to communicate with ATC and follow their instructions. Choose waypoints based on easily identifiable visual landmarks, such as rivers, highways, towns, mountain peaks, which are useful for VFR navigation. I've also used edges of lakes with unique identifiable peninsulas or mountain valleys as good VFR reporting points or position points. Include nearby airports or heliports as waypoints along your route, providing options for planning if needed. Identify potential fuel stops along your route if needed, especially on longer flights where refueling may be necessary. Consider fuel availability and helicopter range when planning these stops. Ensure that you have adequate reserves of fuel in case of delays or unexpected deviations from your planned route. The FAA typically requires 20 minutes of fuel reserves for helicopters when operating under VFR during the day, but it's wise to plan for more, especially in remote areas. Helicopters often fly at lower altitudes. Ensure that you have maintained sufficient altitude to clear obstacles and terrain to comply with minimum safe altitudes as required by regulations. Be prepared to adjust your altitude to avoid turbulence, icing, or other adverse weather conditions. GPS is invaluable for cross-country navigation, providing precise location data and helping along with waypoint tracking. Ensure your GPS system is updated and functioning properly prior to taking off. While helicopters have more flexibility in routing, using VORs and other navigational aids can provide additional accuracy and backup, particularly in areas with complex airspace. By conducting a thorough weather briefing and carefully selecting your course, you can ensure a safer and more efficient helicopter cross-country flight, reducing the risk associated with weather and terrain. Be sure to like and subscribe for more information. If you're serious about helicopters and you don't know where to start, I'd love to help you out. I have a free course that's perfect for you. Click the link below to check it out.